want to show you what my definition of what it should look like when you're walking your dog. This is Matt. He's 5-year-old toy Australian Shepherd, and he's on a slip lead, and I just have it tucked into my waistband of my shorts. He's been taught to walk when I walk, stop when I stop, and keep 4 on the floor, which means he will generally choose to sit. So when I walk, he walks. And this way I can be hands-free, I can take my walk, I can take my stroll, not get my shoulder pulled. The dog isn't pulling on the leash. He got out there a little bit because Nikita interfered with him, but he came right back. And when I stop, he sits. I have taught all of my dogs this, and it usually takes 1 session to teach them this. The reason being is because they've been taught stillness. Today, that's what we're going to talk about. How table training is going to translate into having a dog that walks perfectly on the leash. So stay tuned. I wanted to talk with you today about what I consider the most important, or one of the most important things you can teach your dog, and that is to be still. Had an incident. Let's see if you can see Matt. There he is. See, I have him on the leash. Come on. I have him on leash. I'm hands-free. I just have his leash, there it is, tucked into my belt. And he wouldn't dream of pulling on it, and because he knows walk when I walk, stop when I stop, keep 4 on the floor. There he is. I'll stop. He stops. Good boy. Loose leash. Hands free. People that they see the table training and they see the stillness training, and they say, I had somebody comment, why would I want to teach my dog to stand still on a table? Why would I want to do that? You have to look at the big picture, and the big picture is, if your dog has learned how to be still, then it has an easier time being still. Sit, stay, down, all of that is drilled into dogs to teach them to be still. It's to teach them impulse control. So I don't have to use any of those commands with Matt because he's been taught to walk when I walk, stop when I stop, and I taught him to be still on the table. So just because you're teaching them to be still on a table doesn't mean that's the only use for it. You have to be able to look at the big picture. People who make those kind of comments, I realize, are never going to be good dog trainers because they can't see the big picture. You have to be able to see the big picture. Now I'm going to tell you a little incident I had with Matt. See, he'll stand there as long as I stand here because he's been taught stillness. Another fabulous use for stillness is going to the vet. He injured himself. He caught his eyelid, and I'm not going to show you pictures. He caught his bottom eyelid on something, and he tore it up so bad that it lost blood supply, and it sloughed off, and he had to go to they thought they were going to have to do surgery on it, but the reason I've had my same vet for 17 years is he's like me. He's kind of a watch and wait kind of a guy. I'm a minimalist when it comes to the vet, and I don't like a vet who's going to, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that. He's like, well, you know what, let's put him on some oral antibiotics and some pain meds and some eye drops and see how it goes. And I could just text him pictures every day or a little video every day straight to his cell phone. If you have a good vet, you can do that. So if Matt had not been taught to be still, it would have been extremely hard to put those eye drops in his really sore eye by myself, with no help, with no leash, no nothing. And for the exam, he was so perfect. He just laid on the exam table, he didn't move. No matter what the vet did to him, he didn't move. And my vet said, "Oh, never neuter this dog. This dog has such a great temperament. This dog." But really, yeah, really what it is it's his training. Vets don't usually see dogs that have stillness training, that have table training, that have table manners, that are submissive when they're handled, that are going to put up with, he was due for his rabies shot, so he had that. He didn't react to it at all. Most vets are tortured with all of these dogs that come in that are completely out of hand, completely unruly. They're trying to examine it. It's squirming, it's screaming, I was a vet tech. It's snapping, it's screaming, it's peeing all over itself. And, the vet surmises that, the dog has a poor temperament. Well, really what the dog has is poor training, and it has really poor, it's not stoic. It hasn't been taught to be stoic at all, meaning if it perceives any kind of possible, there could be a little pain involved in that visit. I want you to look at my boy, Matt. I'm not using any hands. I'm not even talking to him. Loose leash, walking beside me, walk when I walk, stop when I stop. See if you can see him go. There he is. I don't have to sit here and go, heel, good dog. Oh, sit. Oh, good dog. So much micromanaging that doesn't need to go on. And by the way, I don't have any food. I'm not giving him treats. He's doing it because he's been taught. He's concentrating on not putting any pressure on the leash. So, I don't know, I've just been thinking a lot about stillness training. I wish people would take it more seriously. Went to the Conformation Dog Show over at the Raleigh Fairgrounds and watched all those dogs. They teach those dogs to stand perfectly still. And if the handler, the person, moves the foot and places it somewhere, the dog is supposed to leave its foot right there. Now they do use food because they're baiting the dog, meaning they're trying to show expression to the judge. It has nothing to do with rewarding the dog for standing there. What they're doing is they're teaching the dog to beg while they're still. So that way when the judge looks at the dog, it looks perky, it looks happy, because it's begging for the food with its feet perfectly still. Now, go try to teach your dog that. I was very naive when I first started showing in Conformation. This was like 30 years ago. I'd go to a dog show and I'd say, well, how hard can that be? They're just standing there. Well, give it a try with your dog. It's very hard to teach. So, to me, with a new puppy, one of the very first things I'm going to teach that puppy is to stand still, sit still, and lie down still. And I'm not going to sit there and give it commands. I'm going to put it on the table, and I'm going to physically, manually put it in a stand. I'm going to manually put it in a sit, and I'm going to manually put it in a down, and there isn't going to be any food involved. If you want to use treats very lightly for training your dogs, you can certainly do that with puppies. I use them very lightly in certain situations, but all the treat dispensing, treat doling, treat training is just going to get you in trouble later because the dog isn't going to work unless you have food. So, if you haven't taught your dog this most important behavior, get to work on it today, and it's never too late. It's better, it's easier when they're puppies. Matt's 5 years old now. He knows to be still when I'm still, walk when I walk, stop when I stop, keep 4 on the floor, my hands are free. I don't have to touch the leash, I don't have to talk to him, I don't have to give him a treat, I don't have to tell him how good he is. He's concentrating on the task at hand, which is to walk beside me on a loose leash and stop when I stop. So he's not only getting mental exercise, he's getting physical exercise as well. And he's getting emotional exercise because he's a herding working breed, and this is his job right now. When he's on the leash, this is his job. So I'll do a quick review when we get done with our mile on how to get your dog started on the table. And I'll put it somewhere in this video so that you can, see it, get a reminder. If I had a dog, a new dog, whether it was a rescue dog or somebody gave me an adult dog or I just failed to train my adult dog, I'd get started on it today. The age of the dog doesn't matter. So anyway, great to be back with our morning walks. Catch you next video.